Well, again, that's a debatable thing. I'm alive. How's everybody? I, that's my friend Jim wrote to me about the State of the Union last night, which I refused to watch, which was good because it was a record length, and I don't, about 2 minutes of Donald Trump is all I could stand before I started either laughing hysterically or, reach for the remote to throw it. But anyhow, then I go and read the stuff, the polls and everything, and they were surprisingly, that, not, they were more positive than negative. And as I'm reading this, they said that's normal for a State of the Union address for those that are sitting in the audience and listening, actually listening to it. Because most people like myself that don't like Trump didn't bother listening to it. You saw the politicians walk out, they're not going at all. So that's, basically the way I feel about it. I don't think that the economy's that great. Especially if you look at it from a world point of view, which I do. I don't think that Trump's making the country safer in any manner, shape, or form because he's making backdoor deals with Putin, to divide the world up. The problem is Putin hasn't got the muscle left to help divide the world up. Trump's more or less on his own in that sense. Because China's just sitting there and they're saying, well, they're doing so much that they've eroded their military leadership that they may not be able to fight. I don't think that's true. I think that people have constantly underestimated China over the years in their willingness to send 1 million men to the battlefield and lose half of them. They don't understand that. We don't understand the Oriental mind. We don't understand the Asian mind. You think that a man like Netanyahu or whatever his name is, the Jewish prime minister of Israel, that he'll be satisfied with the Middle East if they turn it over to him? Do you think that Saudi Arabia is just going to let him walk in and do this without dropping A-bombs on Israel? You're just not thinking straight. He's got us headed into a very bad situation. And I, for one, not there to see it, but I, for one, hope that I'm wrong. But based upon what I'm seeing, I'm not. He's out there just determined to cause destruction. That's a dangerous place to be. Again, he's one of these people you never want to really stand next to. First of all, he stinks. There's always an odor about him. It's sort of like, the men's room at Giant Stadium at halftime, right after the end of halftime, and the players come back and you're walking in, and you're one of the last ones to walk in and take a piss, and the place smells like, you know what I'm saying? That's the way Donnie smells. Anyhow, there's a lot that needs to be done in this country, whether it's Trump's not going to do it. Look, his decisions about the climate and whatnot are affecting the world. People think that his decisions are a good thing and that we'll be more productive and whatnot. You're not going to have a planet to be productive of in 10 years. That's the way it looks right now. It's 10 years. Before we run out of water to feed, to supply the food and whatnot. And, the bees are disappearing left and right. People say, "What fuck bees?" I'm allergic to bees. Okay, I don't like them. But without them, we're all dead. Okay? And that's just the general direction we're headed in right now. Lucy just showed up. How are you, sweetheart? You see, you can't. Can you see her tail? Anytime when she's awake, and you go, Lucy. You see, she just gets so excited. She loves to be called Lucy. Don't you? You like it when I call your name? No. You're on television. You know that, right? You're going out all over the world. Your picture right now. And you have this little, why me? Oh, you're fine. You're gorgeous. You're okay. Uh, yeah, you're all right. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't have bent that way. I just threw my back. I have a back that if I lean the wrong way, it starts to hurt. But getting back to the situation at hand, we have a health crisis going on because he appointed a complete, I don't want to call him Warren, I don't know what he is, but I call him a science denier, and the cabinet is full of science deniers. And if you looked at Hegseth lately, watch the guy, that's an evil man. That's a man that wants to go to war. He's not a peacetime war secretary or secretary of state or defense or whatever the hell he is. He wants to call himself this week. He's not a peacetime one. Rubio is too personally ambitious to ever be good at anything. He thinks he deserves the presidency. And that's a problem when you think you deserve it. Not that you want to be, but you think you deserve to be. And that's his problem. But one of the reasons I don't watch the State of the Union addresses is because I personally believe all politicians lie. Now I said I listen to Obama. I listen to orators. I love it. I'm not a huge Kennedy fan at the time, but the more I know about him, I'm thinking that he was such a morally respectable man. He was just like Clinton and him have a lot in common, and they always said that. And I think Kennedy was immoral, and Jackie suffered for that. And, he suffered at the end. Clinton's immoral. So is his wife. So I mean, that was a good match, But I love listening to Martin Luther King. I like listening to Muhammad X. Obama, Michelle Obama. I love listening to people that know how to express themselves in words and can motivate you with words. They don't need a gun or an army or anything. They motivate people with words. That's amazing. Martin Luther King motivated millions of people, maybe more than millions, with words and how he said them. I'm assuming that he wrote all his speeches. I don't know whether they all write all their speeches. All the people I mentioned or somebody else writing them. But the delivery is the best I've ever seen from anybody. And if it's like Kamala was running for a president, and I said I don't think she's going to do it. I wanted Michelle, but I knew she wouldn't do it. Michelle's too smart to be president. That job is, if you're intelligent, that job is extremely frustrating. You can't do things that you think are right because you have to make deals that you don't want to make to get things that you want to get done. And that's just very taxing on individuals. I don't think many of the American people understand that to be president of the United States is you have to be an expert in compromise. And you have to know when somebody's willing to compromise. Trump doesn't understand that. Trump believes because he's been able to do it his whole life that he can buy or force the force of his money can get him anything and everything he wants. Which is fine, but what he's doing is affecting billions of people, not just Americans. He's stuff that's affecting the planet. And effectively, he's in cahoots with I don't know who to destroy this planet. And they don't think they're destroying it, but they are. And what he undid in a year is going to take a long time to replenish. But fortunately, there's a lot of countries and a lot of states that are paying no attention to him, especially when it comes to the climate. And that's good for the world, that independent factor. But I don't know how long he's going to put up with that. People keep telling me he's losing it. He's only got a short time left. Look, I've been called crazy, stupid, immature my whole life, right? People listen to me now out of courtesy because of my age, but a lot of people think I'm full of shit. But if you remember half the stuff I said in the last few years to my friends and whatnot, not to show the people that are watching this, but my friends and whatnot, and they've come around to say, you were right about that. Didn't you say that? Yeah, I did. How did you know that? I said, to me, it was just common sense. That this is the logical progression. And with Trump, you have a logical progression is destruction. He wants to kill democracy. I'm not sure democracy is the best form of government in the world, but he wants to go to totalitarian. And that's what you don't understand. How can you go from democracy and free will to totalitarian and no free will? How does that make any sense? But the way he's going, that's a logical progression of events that he's pushing for. When I say logical, that just means these things are going to follow if he continues along this pace. And unless he's put a stop to it. And to put a stop to it is to round up all the authors of 2025, arrest them, and put them in jail for secession, treason, whatever you can get, maximum sentences, whatever. Secession and treason carry the death penalty. And I think that's, an unfortunate response to this situation. But that's because otherwise, what he's doing isn't just hurting us, it's hurting the world. You're not just going to suffer here, we're going to suffer everywhere. Now, in the next few days, we'll see what's going to happen as people start talking about the State of the Union and whatnot. I'm surprised they could keep him up there that long. But he sets records for that speech. And there's something that was done with, you guys know Kentucky Fried Chicken probably, all right? You've seen the picture of the older gentleman there? That's Colonel Sanders. He was a real man. He started the company when he's in his 60s. And, biggest chicken company in the world for a while. I don't know whether it still is. But he began to suffer serious dementia. But he had to make all these, because he was the face of the business and had to make all these personal appearances and stuff to grow and to keep the business until people figured out, how to replace him. They would fly him into, I think it's Lily Center or West Orange, St. Barnabas Medical Center. I think it was West Orange. In Jersey. It was down the road from where I lived. I spent 11 days in that hospital, so I dated a head nurse from there and whatnot. And her roommate was worked in the hyperbaric chamber. And they used to bring Colonel Sanders in. I don't know what the time frame was. I never found out about that. But they would bring him in, put him in the hyperbaric chamber. The hyperbaric chamber floods your body with oxygen. pure oxygen. And they would bring him in, and he would go in the chamber for whatever the time it was. I don't know that much about it. I just know that they told me that he was there that day, or such and such a date. And it sort of brings back revives the brain for short periods of time. And then he could go out and do what he had to do, make the deal he had to do, until eventually I think that in the old age eventually just took over. But apparently that's something that sure that if that's a true story that they're doing something like that with Trump, pumping him full of drugs or whatever to get him. I don't think they can give him drugs. Because I don't think he takes anything, so that might be hard to do. But the oxygen thing they could do, he would love that. They treat him like a baby. All right, I'm bored. But listen, you guys that said, he didn't like his speech or whatnot, okay, that's fine. All politicians lie. And these kinds of events, they lie through their teeth. Because you're not going to go up there and say anything that's negative. All right? Anything, their objective when they get up there is to make everything look rosy. They're not going to give you any negative hints about anything. So it's a very dishonest thing, whoever's doing it, But some of them just sound better than the others, And some of them are actually sincere, but they know they're not going to be able to do what they're saying they're doing. But they still come across sincere. All right, listen, that's it. Hit the subscribe button. You'll find out when I'm live like I am right now. And you'll find out that you'll get notices when I post my other videos. And that's sort of like, it. It's good for the channel. It's good for me. It's good for the YouTube. It's not making me any money. I don't know whether it makes YouTube any money. I doubt that. But that's, as you can see, it's. I wonder if this recorded or not. Huh. That ought to be a good one. All right. Anyhow, we'll see you later. Take care. Have a good day. Here it is. Okay. Mm-hmm.